Alright, last time you made a ball object, and then we rewrote this bouncing ball program so that we create a ball object, and then we just run its methods. We tell it to move, we ask if it's hitting the edge, if it is, we reverse the speed, all that kind of thing. Alright, so I said that when you made your ball object, you want to imagine this as a general purpose object that we might want to reuse for lots of other programs also. And you also might have noticed we didn't actually put in any classic getter or setter methods. So let's put in a couple of setter methods maybe, and think about what other things might be useful. So one thing that might be useful, I know you have to tell the ball where it is when you create it, but it might be useful to say b.setRandomPosition. It might be useful to just tell the ball, move to somewhere at random. Or it might be useful to say setRandomSpeed. If you wanted to do that. It might be useful to be able to say b.setSpeed, and then you give it an x and a y as the two speeds that you want it to travel at. It might also be useful to say setPosition, and you give it the x and the y that you want it to set to. Notice that this is a little bit different than the setter methods that you're used to. You're used to seeing like setX, and it takes an x coordinate, and setY, and it takes a y coordinate. And you can definitely do that, that's fine. But it just seems a little bit more convenient to set the x and the y together, because very often that's what you really want to do. So you should feel free to do what makes sense. Don't sort of slavishly follow like a pattern that I've shown you just because. I mean, it's worth asking, because sometimes the patterns I show you, there is a good reason why you want to do that. But if it makes more sense to you to make a setter that has two things, go ahead and do that. Alright, so let's create a couple of these. So just as a test to see if our methods are working, I'm going to say if it hits the right-hand side, we're going to say b.setRandomPosition. So let's go ahead and create that method. Well, let's go ahead and create a regular setter method first. So we'll say setPosition. Let's set it to be somewhere different than we create it, just to make sure it's working. So over here, if I want to make the setPosition method in the way that I'm imagining I want it, public void setPosition, and it looks like I need two inputs that are the x and the y coordinates. So I'll say float x, float y, and then this.x equals x, and this.y equals y. So it's just like you do in the constructor, and the point is, the job of the constructor is to assign assign initial values to all of these variables of the ball. The point of a setter method is to reset those same variables to different values. So it has to take an input, and then it uses those inputs to reset the variables at the top. Alright, so I've reset the... Alright, so now that I've got setPosition, let's go ahead and make setRandomPosition. The reason I made this one first is because we're just about to use it. So setRandomPosition. This one doesn't take any input because the place that we're creating it is supposed to be random. So look at what we can do. I could say this.x equals what? Math.random times 600. Or if I wanted to, well, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it both ways. So I could do this, which actually sets the x and the y position to random numbers. Or if I wanted to, I could run my own setPosition method, like this. And if you want to, you could even say like this.setPosition, if that makes it a little bit clearer. And then I'm going to set it, if I wanted to set it to, 390 and 23, I'd do that. What I want to do is I want to put random numbers here. So I'll paste my two random number expressions in there. And now it does the same thing. Oops. And now it does the same thing. I'm running setPosition, only now I've got one random number here and one random number here. All right, great. And then notice, okay, so it didn't fix the compile time error until I moved into this window. It still might not for you, so you have to hit Control S to save it. Okay, what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to make a setSpeed and a set random speed method that are exactly analogous to set position and set random position. So set speed takes an input for the x speed, y speed. Set random position does that. Oh, actually, let's do one more thing first together. Let's add in gravity. So let's make it called apply gravity. I'm not going to call it apply gravity. I'm going to call it accelerate. I'm going to call it accelerate down. And we'll say y speed equals y speed plus gravity. Gravity is all in caps because I want to make it a constant. So you can hover over it and say create constant gravity. And what that does is up here at the very top, it creates a float called gravity. I'm going to make gravity be like something pretty small. The F here is for float, otherwise it thinks this is a double, and this would have to be double. Alright, so y speed equals y speed plus gravity, great. So if I run the program right now, you'll see, well, it's not moving because, remember, when we create the ball, its speeds are 0. You'll need to create your own set speed method so that we can actually start it moving. So you want to say set speed. Let's make it move like, I don't know, a little bit to the right and not at all down, for example. But let's not do that right now. Instead, right underneath move, or right before move, I'll say b dot accelerate down for gravity. Cool, and now we see it does seem to be accelerating us down. What happened when we hit the bottom? Reverse y speed. Oh, my implementation of reverse y speed is not right. Cool. Okay, let's try it again. So there we get the kind of classic gravity bouncing. I'm going to make my gravity a little bit stronger. Alright, so in the next video, I'm going to show you how to make a ball fountain, which is a really cool looking effect, and we'll illustrate like why is it powerful to use objects. Okay, good luck, come back next time.